Welcome to Brain Tunnels. Have you heard that saying that 98% of the people or population is average and only the 2% and above or whatever are the best of the best? Well, I disagree with that. I think they're in the 98% of that population that they talk about. There's some fantastic people out there, some people that are working very, very hard. So the question is, why is it that we all struggle? Why is it there's so much information out there about being the top 2%, the rich of the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. All these gurus out there talking about, 98% of the population is just average people. They get up, they just go to work, come home, and they're lazy as can be. Well, I really disagree with that. I think there's some people out there that are working really, really hard. And if you take that 98%, it's probably a lot less. It's just that we live in a very competitive world. And there are some people out there that are willing to take advantage of people. As we've seen in news where people have taken a business and taken all the money out of it. People lost their retirement, lost their job. I mean, look at Enron. That's a great example. Enron's gone. People have lost all kinds of fortunes because of the company just ran it down to the ground, took all the money. Some people made a lot of money, some people lost. A lot of people lost. So is it their fault that they trusted those people? Did they work hard? Did they go there every day and do their job? Yeah. So I can't say that, 98% of the population is either lazy or just average. No, I think there's a lot of people out there working hard, very hard, trying to figure out what this world is about. I mean, there's people out there with 2, maybe 3, 4 jobs just trying to make their payments. And when you look at this world, see, I live in Sacramento, and I looked up some statistics. As according to 2020, the population was about 500,000 people, somewhere give or take, and the income to be above everything was about $50,000 a year. And they showed some things about rents being about $1,800 on, medium price range. And, I think to myself, when I look at Zillow and I look at properties in maybe not so good areas, that maybe you can get something for $1,800. But if you want a little bit better neighborhood, you're going to be paying in the $2,000. And I'm talking about a place with at least probably two or three bedrooms, right, for a family. And you think of as a family, we all want to have our kids go to the good schools, the best schools we can possibly get them to. And I'm not saying pay for private schools. I'm just saying in a nice neighborhood. And if you take $50,000, and I'm just going to take a real quick idea of it. In fact, here, I'll take 50,000. Okay, 50,000 times 0.80. Okay, that comes out to 40,000. Divide by 12, you get about $3,300. Now that was just a quick number. I'm talking about 80% that you get to keep, and it's probably more like, you're only going to keep probably 70%, depending on if you got some 401k stuff coming out, you got a pension or whatever's coming out of there. But let's just take $3,000, nice round number. If you're paying $2,000 for a place to live, that leaves $1,000 for gas, electricity, car insurance, gas for your car, food, not including any kind of credit card debt or anything like that. $1,000 left. And if it's two of you, you and a significant other, you're not going to make it. Now, someone can say, well, if there's two of them, well, maybe there's two incomes. Well, maybe there is two incomes, and it's $50,000. Now, if they're both making 50, that's 100,000. So now they got 6,000, right? But when you really get down to it, that money shrinks very quickly on just paying a mortgage or paying rent, whatever that may be, right? $2,000 to $3,000 for a decent home, decent area, okay? Then you got the furniture that you have to have. Then you have to pay the gas and electric. Then you got two cars, whichever, you're paying that, the maintenance on it, the oil changes, the upkeep, the gas for it. Gas prices are going up and up and up and up. Food costs is going up and up and up. Even electricity and gas for your home is going up. So when this inflation hits us, your dollar is dropping more and more if incomes are not going up. So what's going to happen? If people are living paycheck to paycheck already, and that's happening to them, they got to find a way to survive. And I hear these people, gurus, again, I'm going to call them gurus. You can decide what they are on your own. But when people say, don't take on debt, don't do this, try to live minimalist and do all that, well, living in an $1,800 to $2,000 place is probably pretty much of a minimalist. And you got people, pulling back on their food, pulling back on this. And then you got some rich person that's a billionaire or a millionaire saying, yeah, you got to figure out how to save your money. Put 10, 20, 30%, put that money away, and then now you start investing. Well, that's tough for a lot of people. Okay, investing a long time ago wasn't for the average person. You had to be somewhat wealthy before, the depression, the stock market crash in the 20s and 30s. Most people, before they were able to do it, weren't investing. They were surviving. And I think most people are that way. They're surviving. And for somebody that has so much more to go and say, you should do this and this and this, well, that's very difficult. Now, one of the things I do see is the job market, the income levels. If you got a job at McDonald's or Carl's Jr., Taco Bell, Walmart, Target, a lot of these I would call entrance job areas, even though there's older people there, they're not really designed to support families of 3, 4, 5 people. Not even probably one person. They're just there for that supplemental income, that part-time work. And when you try to design a life using that kind of income, it's going to be very difficult. But the question is there a lot of other jobs out there that anybody could just walk in and go get right out of high school? And I'd have to say, probably not. You'd have to have some kind of skill or expertise. Today, someone might be really good at computers and grew up around computers, and I know people that are like this. I mean, when they were probably 10 years old, they had a computer in their house and they were hacking away at DOS and other things and learn everything they can. And by the time they're graduated from high school, say 8, maybe 10 years later, they've got a lot of computer skills and they can add value to an organization without having probably that college degree. Some places require a college degree for IT, but some don't. So the question is, can somebody make a good living in the world today? What is required? And I would say there's got to be a job skill or expertise somewhere, and it's got to be developed. And when people say you should develop yourself, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Jim Rohn, I really like his stuff. But again, I'm kind of hold back on that a little bit because we have to ask ourselves, where did this information originate from? But at this time, I'm not going to go into that. My goal is to say that he said, work on yourself more than you do at work. Now, I think that when you go to work, you should work hard for your job. Get there on time, do what you're supposed to do, focus on what you're supposed to be doing, be fully engaged, learn everything you can about your job and do the best you can. But at the same time, don't rely on the people you work for and around with to boost you up to a position that you think in your head that you deserve, that you're entitled to. Because if you do that, you might find that it doesn't work out that way, and it could make you feel jaded or this is not right. The key thing is focus on your own learning, your own development, building it, find your resources. If you're in one of these jobs that do not pay that much, you have to find at least a few hours a day. Get up in the morning 2 or 3 hours early, get in there and find what you want to do. Find out what's profitable in the marketplace, what skill set, find your resources and start developing. Don't worry if this is the correct starting point or you should be doing this or that. Just make a plan for it. Write it out. Say, for example, if you want to get in IT, say, I want to learn about IT. I want to start maybe working at a help desk, something of that nature. And I'm just giving an example. It could be whatever. Today you have YouTube, you have Skillshare, Udemy, you have LinkedIn Learning, you have Pluralsight. All of these sites have online learning. Today, learning is there. Now, they do cost money. I believe LinkedIn, Pluralsight's about $39, $40, something like that. Skillshare might be $5 a month. Udemy, you pay for a course as you go and you have access to that course forever. They get down to $9.99. You can wait for a sale and pick it up. Or if it's something you really need, $20, $100, whatever it may be. YouTube has tons of stuff out there. You can learn everything you probably want to right there as well. Now you have to be diligent. You have to go in and say, okay, what area do I want to learn? IT, desk support. What do I need to do? Boom, boom, boom. Start gathering that knowledge. Look at it. So here's what I do. So I create these little cards. So whenever I find a really good YouTuber, I even highlight it. I know you can't read that specifically, but you don't have to read. That's my learning. I have stacks. I mean, look at this. Stacks of cards. All these are cards that I'm doing. And what I do is I find the best of the best and I write out their names, what the channel is, what they're teaching, and I write down what I need to get out of it. And I usually come back to it and then I outline it. And once I have the materials learned, then I can go on to other subjects and expand that. So brain tunnels, the whole concept is that you're expanding your mind. I noticed that when I first got a position at a job and I had to do someone else's job for about like 3 weeks because they were going to go on vacation. And the job was very complex, meaning it had a lot of do this first, do that, real sequential to make sure you did it right. And it wasn't just 5 things, it was like 30 things that you had to do. So very convoluted. This process could have been improved, but all I was gonna do was do it for the time they were gone and they would come back. So I had to learn it. It took me about a month to learn the process from beginning to end. And it was a very tedious, busy job. I mean, from the time you got there to the time you got off work, you had to do certain things because everything was timed. Mail room came up, you had to go drop something off. You had to go pick this up. You had this time, you had to make sure this was delivered. You had to do a report at this time, deliver the report, send it to the people that would load it to the computer system. It was just really convoluted. And when I'm learning it, it was very, I'm thinking to myself, am I ever gonna get this? But eventually I did. So the idea is I learned that things that were complicated, convoluted, I eventually learned, and it became second nature to me. And I didn't have to put as much thought into it. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you're trying to learn something new, let's say computer technology, and it's kind of a large learning curve, be patient with yourself. Take a little bit at a time. Learn a little bit, then let it absorb, digest it, learn a little bit more. And over a period of 6 months to a year, you're going to develop enough skills to understand what it is, what it means, and how you can work within it. And you're going to have that skill set that now you can transfer to an employer and get paid more. So you just keep working that ladder up and up. Now, do I think everybody should just go and work for somebody? Well, at first you should. You should learn how to work with leadership, other people, team people, work on a team, work individually, learn how to do different jobs, understand how businesses are run. And when you get these ideas, you're going to grow on it. As you get older, then you can say, hey, I want to become that entrepreneur. Now, you might be an entrepreneur already, and you're already doing those things, and you've got it down, and that's fine too. I mean, you go either route. I just think of a person that needs to get some basic skills, learning skills on how to work within an organization, how to work with other people, how to follow leadership. That might be a good way to start. Now, once you've gathered and you've done your learning and you've gotten better at it, the next goal would be to find the next level. It's like games, you just level up. And I think anywhere you go, music, computers, physics, math, I think they're all just life learning. You're going to continue to learn in those areas. Just looking at computer technology, that's changed so much, and it's changing so fast. It's hard to keep up, but you know that, hey, I've got to learn something new all the time. You're growing with it. Things are becoming obsolete. Things are becoming new. So the challenge is to keep yourself motivated and be a constant learner. In this world, change is going to happen, and you have to get to that point where you enjoy learning, enjoy grasping new ideas, and using it. Now, that's the other key. Learn it and be able to use it. And I think that's sometimes the hard part is we've got this knowledge, but now how can I translate that into value in the marketplace? And in time, we'll get to these things. Till next time, come back to Brain Tunnels. Thank you.